This was tragic. It was a night that none of us will forget for a very long time. But do not forget that the system worked. The Secret Service kept us safe, and that man was quickly apprehended and subdued minutes, seconds after he tried to breach the perimeter. Well, we're 12 hours into the investigation. The FBI and other law enforcement worked through the night. They executed search warrants on both coasts, both in D.C. at the hotel room where he was staying, which was inside the conference center where we had the dinner, and also in Los Angeles at the suspected home. We know that he had 2 firearms on him, as has been reported, along with some knives. We believe that he traveled by train from Los Angeles to Chicago, and then Chicago to Washington, D.C., and we've executed search warrants on his devices as well. We've started talking to folks that know him, and to try to just continue to gather information and evidence. It appears that he checked in on the 24th to the hotel, and we're still looking at video surveillance and footage of where he walked and how he got in and how those firearms got in. But at the end of the day, I expect we'll have a lot more about that in the coming days.
I'm not surprised at all. Again, if he had not been inside the hotel already, and let's say he wouldn't have made it through the exterior ingress door, perhaps he would have decided to shoot people at the doorway. But because he was already inside, he had, at least one terrain feature ahead of anybody else from the public that would have had access. Quite frankly, I don't believe that he was able to get that close. I've been in that hotel. That's the infamous hotel where Reagan was shot in 1981. The United States Secret Service knows that hotel very well. They've set up this layer of security in the security plan for decades now. Again, I don't think that he was ever in any imminent danger. And I think that the men and women of the Secret Service did a very good job at addressing his erratic behavior. If you watch the video, you can see as he's approaching at a rapid pace, the officer that is in uniform is the first to draw his weapon. He sees something coming at him, but that happens so fast that the officers and the agents have literally split seconds to determine if this guy is a threat or not. They may not have been able to determine if he was a threat outside of just the speed in which he was moving, if he had a weapon, if he didn't have a weapon. And so, again, I think that the plan worked. The concentric layers of security worked last night. It's textbook lone wolf. Like I said, once we get into the ability to analyze his digital footprint, I think we're going to see that there were signs there. Due to the political rhetoric and violence in this country and globally, I don't think we're going back to where we were. I think this is going to become the norm. And so therefore, we can no longer sit back as Americans and just say, hey, that's someone else's problem. It's not my problem. It very well may be your problem. And we've got to get better at, when we know that someone's in crisis, that there's erratic behavior occurring, that there's radicalization, whether it be politics or whatever it is, you've got to intervene.